In late December 1941, William Fielden returned from China to the United States. His destination was Oxford, Mississippi, and Roanoke, home of William and Estelle Faulkner. In Shanghai in July 1940, Bill Fielden had married Victoria Franklin, Estelle's daughter and Faulkner's stepdaughter. Shortly after this marriage, the Japanese threat of war had increased, and in late 1940, all American women and children were advised to leave the country. Fielden's new bride and his adopted daughter, also named Victoria, were evacuated. Mother and daughter traveled unescorted job with the British American Tobacco Company. Estelle and William had their 8-year-old daughter, Jill, eagerly awaited the appearance of the new bridegroom, whom they had yet not met. On this arrival at Roanoke, an instant rapport developed between Bill Fielden and Pappy, as Faulkner readily instructed Fielden to call him. Fielden was unpretentious, and his gentle personality also immediately captivated Jill and her mother. The Fieldens resided with the Faulkners for several months, while Fielden alternated between job hunting, trying to enlist in the armed forces, and working as a field hand at Roanoke. Until Faulkner's death in 1962, Roanoke would be home for the Fieldens whenever they visited the United States on vacation. In January of 1942, Bill Fielden was getting acquainted with routines observed in Oxford, and especially at the Faulkner residence in Garfield at the edge of town. He witnessed for the first time a pig being killed, butchered, and prepared for curing. His father-in-law, William Faulkner, assisted by the black retainers Prince and Ned Barnett, was in charge of the ceremony. Fielden was so intrigued by this procedure that he asked Pappy to type out for him his own personal recipe, as he referred to it from that day forth, for curing pork. Pappy Faulkner obliged his son-in-law as much as an expectant measure out of cordial compliance. His books had failed to provide him with financial security, and Faulkner was keenly sensitive to his own precarious situation. Any day he might be forced to accept work far from Oxford, or be called away to fight for his country. In point of fact, he could imagine Bill Fielden assuming the role of provider for his own household. Indeed, by the end of July 1942, Faulkner would be behind a desk in Burbank, California, fighting for his country by writing war propaganda film scripts for Warner Brothers. Although Faulkner could not predict this imminent change of circumstances in early 1942, he could and did feel compelled to instruct his son-in-law in the necessary realities of self-reliance. Maintaining a victory garden, raising poultry, keeping a milk cow, and curing ham and shouldering bacon.
Hey guys, it's me, William Faulkner. I'm here to tell you how it went down that I made this here recipe of how to cure ham, shoulder, and bacon. And this is for my son-in-law to be able to take care of my daughter. And so I wrote all this down here, and so I'm just going to read it to you so we can get on with our day here. So I can be writing some books later or something maybe for you. So I wrote, after the pieces are trimmed and thoroughly cooled, either by 24 hours of natural temperature or by artificial temperature, not low enough to freeze it, that is about 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Lay the pieces flat, flesh side up, cover thoroughly with plain salt about 1/4 inch deep. Work saltpeter to the bone joints and into the ends where the feet were removed, and into any other crevices or abrasions. Do this well and carefully to prevent blowing. A slightly higher temperature will help the salt penetrate. Leave for 24 hours. After those 24 hours, turn the pieces over skin side up to drain. Sprinkle skin side with salt. I punch holes through the skin with an ice pick to help draining. Leave for 24 hours. After those 24 hours, turn the pieces flesh side up again and make a paste. Half plain salt, half molasses, sugar, red and black pepper, just moist enough to spread over the pieces without flowing off. Leave for 7 days. After 7 days, make a paste. 1/4 plain salt, 3/4 molasses, sugar, red and black pepper, slightly more fluid than the first mixture, so that it will flow slightly over the pieces, penetrating the remains of last week's treatment, dripping down the sides. Leave for 7 days. After those 7 days, make a paste without salt. Molasses, sugar, red and black pepper, fluid enough to cover the pieces without flowing off too much. Cover the pieces in the residue of the 2 former treatments and leave for 7 more days. Hang the pieces and smoke with hickory or oak chips. Keep it in smoky atmosphere for 2 to 7 days, and the meat may be treated either before smoking or after with a preparation to prevent blowflies. Then wrap or enclose in cloth or paper bags and leave hanging until used. So you see here, this is quite a long recipe time frame, but the 7 days are very important. The 24 hours are very important, and this should be able to do it to take care of my daughter. Thanks for watching.